welcome again to everybody. And I'm so delighted you're able to join us. So my name is Avril. In 3 months' time, I'll be with Trend Micro for 20 years. Hard to believe. I have 2 kids born during my time at Trend Micro. One is 12, a 12-year-old girl and a 16-year-old boy. And Trend Micro, for those of you who don't know, is a global cybersecurity leader. And we're very, very passionate. We're experts when it comes to cybersecurity for our customers. But we're really, really passionate about, if we're experts, we should be giving back to our community. And that's what we do. And that's why the Q&A will be recorded as well, Nuala, yeah. Everything, and will be posted up there. But that's why we're so passionate about giving back information to our communities, and everything we do in community is free. So, for example, today we have the Cyber Academy. We had 70 kids from 3rd class into our office today, and we had 30 volunteers, Trend Micro trained ambassadors on internet safety, delivering episodes to these kids. And the good news is that the Cyber Academy is on our website, and any teacher or parent can just go on the website and start them. Each episode takes 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how long you have. And they're free resources and easy to use, and the kids love them. They're very fun. And so Trend Micro has been around 35 years, started 35 years ago by a married Taiwanese couple, and it's just grown now to 7,000 employees worldwide. And we have, I guess, when it comes to our Internet Safety for Kids and Families program, that's been active now for 11 years. I've been doing Parent Talks in Community for 11 years. That got stopped short during COVID, which is when I started working on this with my colleagues in Trend Micro on how to scale and reach even more people. And we have reached 3.2 million parents, teachers, and kids all around the world, not just in Ireland, with our program. And it's a volunteer program, and everything, like I said, that we do, we're very passionate about. We really care about getting this information out to communities, and especially to vulnerable young people and people of all ages where it's needed most. This presentation, like I said earlier, is an hour long with 30 minutes Q&A. I'll stay as long as needed. I also have a lovely colleague of mine who is also working with the kids this morning, Ian. Ian will join me afterwards for the Q&A time as well, because sometimes it's good to just bounce questions off each other to help give you the best answers possible. And the goal for this talk really is, that we want to maximize the benefits that the internet brings to us all and minimize the risks. And while you won't know everything after 60 minutes or 90 minutes of this webinar, you'll certainly have a framework. No matter what comes through your door in the evenings, what requests come in, what situations arise in your home, in your community, you'll have that framework to remember, and you'll know where to go and what to do if something happens, okay? So that's the key, and that you feel empowered after this call that, yeah, I don't know all the answers, but actually it's not that crazy. I don't have to be a tech genius for all of this, okay? And one of the things for me personally as a parent that I bring to you over the years, so as a parent, not from a work perspective, but from working in community with teachers, with parents and kids and teens and tweens, and we work with Age Action as well and the local Gardaí, and I've learned so much from them. But in a nutshell, what I would say to you is, from my own kids, when they start off as babies, then, the way your conversation changes as they get older, into toddlers, into little smally kids, and then they get that little bit older, and your language changes with your kids. And it's kind of the same with the internet, how they start off, and then how you're with them as they grow up online. And I see it with my own kids. They're become more self-conscious. How others see them is very important to them, and that's quite different to when they were babies and toddlers. How they dress, how they act, how they behave is slowly starting to change, and they certainly do test their limits, test your limits, and they need boundaries. They definitely need boundaries, and cue the parent then to deal with it all. And we're not really trained when it comes to the internet. My daughter asked me a while back, was there clocks when I was small? That's how old she thinks I am, and I don't think she could even comprehend life without Wi-Fi. So my take on it all is that we have to put in the time. And, you know, as easy and all and lovely as all it would sound to just get someone in to teach your kids and talk to your kids, this is a journey that we as parents have to take with our kids. And, you know, our kids will grow up. Sometimes it doesn't feel like they will. They will grow up and they will, you can see it already with some of your kids, depending on what their age is. They're starting to grow into young adults. And they, you know, when we're not around, we want them to be responsible citizens and that they make responsible decisions and choices when we're not around. That's the goal. Whether it's online or offline, that's what we want to achieve. That's what we want to see with our kids. Um, so choices, they have choices to make. And that's my taking from it, that we have to put in the time. And I'm going to show you now with my slides what I'm talking about, really. Kids crave your attention. They really do. And what better way than to get involved and more active with them? When I talk to teens, teens say to me, I wish I could talk to my parents, but they don't have a clue what I'm talking about, so I can't. And when I talk to parents on parent talks like this one, they say, after the talk, they say, I'm going to get more involved. I need to know more about what my kids are doing so I can talk to them and we can relate to each other. So that's the goal. And please don't feel like you have to remember anything. This recording is being recorded and it will be shared out on our website afterwards. So if you have any comments or questions, please do feel free and talk to each other. After all, it takes a community to raise a child, it takes a village. And I've opened up the chat, so please feel free to respectfully communicate with each other. I'm going to just share my slides now. So these are some of the things that we are going to talk about, right? So tech savvy kids and teens, and you too, if you're not there already. And we're going to talk about safety, security, and privacy in different ways. I'm going to share with you a short demonstration. It's a short video tutorial on TikTok settings, on Snapchat, and also on Instagram, and practical tips and advice. I mean, that's what we want at the end of the day. Life is going at some speed for all of us. So when you need it, you know where it is to find. Managing screen time, it's one of the things that came up in the chat that, you know, it's challenging. How do we manage this? And content, restricting access and content to kids and young teens as well. And kindness I'm going to cover. And some really good guidelines on what to do if your child is someone's being unkind to them. Maybe they've seen stuff online, or maybe they're being unkind to themselves and how to tackle it. And being online in general, how can we use the internet? So we can talk about all the risks and dangers, but we really, really need to be conscious of what the internet can bring to us and help us, you know, benefit from it, but no matter what age we are. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say to you is there is nothing ever, no tech tool, no app that will ever replace the role of a parent. And the relationship is utterly crucial when they're online, when they're offline. But growing up with them online, as I said earlier, is really, really important. That is the number one rule. And we're a cybersecurity company. This is our number one piece of advice, the relationship with your child, that open communication. And the other thing then is the tech tools. You've no idea the amount of tech tools. Wait till I show you, okay? These tech tools are to complement your relationship with your child, to help safeguard, but also to show your kids that, you know, when you're 18, 19 and you're out there and maybe you're going to college or maybe you're working, and whatever new app is available, the minute you download, these are the things you need to default into doing to keep yourself safe and to protect your privacy. Okay, so remember those two things, because they're the top two things: the relationship with your child and tech tools. Okay, so we want our kids to be responsible young citizens, whether they're online or offline, and make those right decisions. And everything they choose to do is a choice. And that's where the conversation comes in with them. Okay, so digital citizenship, what does that really mean when we break it down? 4 things it means. It means that we want our kids to be safe and secure when they're online. It means that we want them to be digitally literate, okay? So we want them to be able to use the device, to be able to navigate around it and use the internet as well, and not fall for things when they're online. and to do their homework, to double check things. We also want them to, do things that benefit community and that they're ethical when they're online and respectful. And mastery, like I said, that they're successful when they're online. We've awarded €6,000 to kids today, announced on Safer Internet Day for our What's Your Story video competition. We asked the question, how do you know what's real or fake online? And answer that question in a 2-minute video. So we had 7 winners that the overall prize was 2,000, and the winners did an amazing job. So young people have a lot to say and they know so much. And it's our role as parents to really help them master the online world and show their talents and showcase them and, to be responsible online. Okay, so this is all great. Yeah, this is definitely, we want our kids to be good digital citizens. How do we do that? So at Trim Micro, we've broken that down for you into 4 pieces, and this is what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover about being online. So how do I set up the environment? What are the rules that we should really look at when we're looking at from our kids from a small age? And depending on your kids, whether they're really small or they're under 10 or they're tweens, they're at that age where they're starting to test boundaries and they want more and more from apps and more devices and mobile phones, which was a good few questions came in about when should I give my child their first mobile phone? And, then we're going to look at being safe online. So protecting yourself, your privacy, your private information. Kids really care about that. We had kids here this morning that it really bothers them that their parents take photographs of them and share them online, and they don't even know who is seeing what photo and how long is it going to be out there for, because we tell them it's out there forever. So, protecting your privacy and that of your family and information and being safe and protecting yourself. Then kindness. So being kind to yourself first and foremost and to others, and being savvy. So the good uses of the internet as well. So setting up the environment is the first thing when we look at being online, and we need to look at physical health. So yourself, kids, they throw themselves on couches, on beanbags, on beds, they throw themselves everywhere. So it's really important when they're doing their homework, for example, if they have to use a device, they do it in a quiet area. If they're on a device for a long time, lighting is really important, and the 30-30-30 rule. So every 30 minutes, take a 30-second break and look 30 feet away. Just look away, and it gives your eyes a break from the screen. And seating, posture, sitting up, back straight, legs down on the ground. And I talked, we work with occupational therapists as well and support the local HSE. And, they were saying as long as you're moving, so every 20-30 minutes, move to a different position. It's okay once you're moving and constantly moving to give your body that break. And so physical health is important, and it's really important to talk to kids about, because they don't know that. And while it may be common sense to us, nobody's telling them until we talk to them about it. Then you have to look at, securing everything in the environment. So security software on all devices. So that's to protect yourself from malware, from all the things that cyber criminals are trying to get at, which is your personal information. And I'm sure everyone on the call tonight has had emails, text messages on different social networks, and you're wondering, where is this coming from? Is this really from my friend? Is this email really from An Post? So, being vigilant, but also you have to look at your security software, and that will also help prevent anything malicious being downloaded to your devices that you're using. Updating your devices. So, when you're on your device and it says there's a software update due, it's really important to do that on a regular basis. So the minute you see it, make a point of doing it as quickly as possible. And here's why. Because cyber criminals are up to so much these days, your device, whatever device you have, that operating system, it's got new patterns, it's got new protection that they want to deploy onto your device to protect your device from the latest threats. So that software update, when you do it, it's protecting you from the latest threats, and it'll improve and enhancements and bug fixes and things like that as well. Strong passwords. So we worked with this with the kids this morning as well. They have to be long, at least 13 digits, a mixture of characters and special characters and numbers and letters. And they really need to be 13 digits or more. And multi-factor authentication, because if somebody did guess your password, they're going to get into your account. If your password is the same on all your accounts, then they're going to get into everything. So that's why, they're never to be shared with anybody. And that's why it's really important to talk to kids about this. And we also talked today about two-factor authentication with kids. It's called multi-factor authentication. And we all actually do know what it is, while you may feel like you don't. Multi-factor authentication is basically, think about a bank. You go to the bank, you log in, put in your password, but then it sends you a special code either by email to your email account or text to your text message, and you have to enter that code in. And that's because the bank need to make sure it's really you. If someone's got your password for your bank account, they're not going to get in because they don't have access to that special code. So it's like a double lock on your door. And this is really important for kids with gaming, whether it be Roblox or Fortnite or Minecraft or whatever they're doing. It's really important, every game, every social network, and for you too, that you turn it on. So there's go to settings, and I will show you how to set one up. I'll use Instagram as an example, how to set that up. Okay, it's really, really important. And virtual private networks. So that's a super extra secure, and you can pay for it and subscribe monthly. And that, if you're using public Wi-Fi, your VPN will actually protect you, and is a very secure way between you and the website or app that you're using, to make sure that what you're doing is safe and secure on it. So the other thing is updating and backing up your information. So if, for example, in the morning, maybe someone spilled coffee on your phone, or you had an accident with it and it was no longer usable, to back up everything that's really important to you. And the same for kids, whether it be videos or photos, that you have it backed up. And there's lots of cloud storage, or you can buy a hard drive and put them all on the hard drive and you have it at home. But whatever you do, make sure you have it backed up as well. So securing everything and making sure you have a backup just in case. Okay. So this is an example of how to set up two-factor authentication on Instagram. I'm using Instagram as an example, but please remember, whatever app you're using, whether it be a game or a social network, you go to settings and it will show you how to do it. Now, I've taken this, it's an Apple device. I have an Apple device. I've also now got a Samsung, so I'm going to be doing a lot more on Android devices as well. So my apologies for those of you who have Android, but remember, it's the same thing, okay? So into Instagram, you see the three lines at the top, and go to settings, go to security, and there you have two-factor authentication. So it's going to ask, okay, add an extra security layer. I want it on text message. Okay, so slide that to the right, and now it says, okay, we've sent you a code. There's the code. It's Facebook owns Instagram, and I keyed in the code that I got in text message on my phone, and click next. It's giving me some backup codes to store, and I can take a screenshot of that. Now I have it on. Two-factor is turned on for Instagram. So if, for example, somebody tried to log on into your Instagram account and they had your password, there's going to be a code sent to you as well. So if you get a code and you haven't been on Instagram, someone's trying to get into your account, but they can't get in. So that's why it's so important, especially to talk to kids about this, that's why it's important to set up two-factor authentication on all the different apps and games that they're using to protect themselves. Okay, so we don't have to buy anything to protect our kids, and here's why. Whatever you have, so whether you have, doesn't matter what device you have, Android, iOS, Microsoft, in each of these, there's a ton of settings and safety settings and family settings and parental controls. They're in there. And I'm going to show you some as examples. And what are they going to help you with? They're going to help you with age appropriate content. A lot of parents on this webinar were asking me at the start of this call, how do I restrict what they see? When they're on something, I don't have it. How do I make sure they're okay? I don't want them in-app purchases. I don't want them using my credit card to download and buy things. How do I manage time online? And this is a really nice one to have, and it's free on the devices that you have. You just need to know they exist and then find them, but I'll show you an example. And then monitoring. So, when kids starting off from a young age, You know, you're not going to ask them how long they want, but as they get older, you'll start changing the rules up with them and agreeing rules with them the older they get. Okay. So available, where are they, all of these? These tools are on your router, depending on if you have a very basic router, they may not have it, but check with the service provider. If you have an account with your service provider, then log into it, set it up, and see what they have available. Sometimes they charge, but sometimes they're there and free to use as well. Your devices themselves, so on your device, it will have that on your device. So the actual settings on your phone has them, on tablets, on laptops, they're all in there. And security software and the App Store itself. So I'm going to go through those examples with you. So no matter what you're using, whether it's gaming devices and social networks, or whether it's, you know, the actual apps themselves, there are settings in all of them. So you can set up them all if you want, okay? Now, I know there's been a few chats. Can we watch the videos created? Yes, so I'm going to share with you, one moment. I'll just share with you here the videos. Do you know what? I'll send them out afterwards, but the email that you're going to receive is going to have all of that. But right now I'll just send you those in the chat for everybody to see as well. There you go, for everyone. So you have those. That's the What's Your Story competition, and that's the 7 to 10-year-old Cyber Academy as well, so that you can have a look at that. But it is okay to have an 11-year-old on the call. They're fantastic. They'll probably tell you a lot more than you realize they know. So please have them join. We often have young people joining. We also have the Q&A. It will be on the recording as well. Okay, so moving on. So the tech tools. So I talked about, you know, depending on the device that you have, and, you know, whether it's iOS, it's Apple, or maybe it's Android device, or maybe it's Microsoft. In those devices, you can download an app, whether it be called Family Sharing, it's within your iOS device, which is the one I'm going to show you. You can download Google Family Link. So Google Family Link is an app from the Play Store that you can download onto your device, and you can connect it to your child's device. And you need to set them up with an account, but it's very straightforward, I promise you. And the same with Microsoft Family Safety. So you set them up. So for example, in family sharing, I just happen to have Apple devices. So I set my kids up with iCloud email addresses, and then I connected them to mine. But on my device, on my phone, it was able to do all of that for me because my kids are under 16. I was their guardian. And so it sets them up and connects them to me. And what do they do? So they look at everything from monitoring, restricting access, to monitoring screen time, to you know, restricting downloading, restricting purchases, and generally restricting content that you don't want your kids to see. And it's the same for Google Family Link, and you can go through each step. So for example, in family sharing, I'm just going to show you one. Setting up screen time. So go into your settings, and you can see here. So this is my screen time, but I have set up family. So you can see family there underneath. So in the family, I have set my 2 kids up. So if you haven't done this yet, you go in there and you set your kids up. And it's the same if you download the Family Link from the Play Store, it's the same thing, okay? So we go to screen time. So if you look at this, all the screen time activity here, you can see that I have been on it for today for almost 3 hours. Well, it wasn't today, this is a screenshot. And it will show you, okay, I had 55 minutes of productivity, 40 minutes on social, that could have been WhatsApp or any of my social networks, and then creativity as well. And you will see a lot of creativity and fun activities for kids in this as well. When you download and you set up your kids on screen time, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see how long they've been on it, and for the day, and you can also look at for the week, okay? And you can see Avril was on the 49 minutes on email, 16 on WhatsApp, on Snapchat and so on. And you can go to the week and get a whole overview. And it's a really nice thing to actually talk to your kids about that and look at it with them. Obviously, if they're 6, that's not going to work. But as they're getting that bit older, like a lot of teenagers use this themselves to manage their time online, okay? So these are the things that you can do when you've screen time set up with your kids. You can manage downtime. When are they allowed to be online? When are they, the app limits? When are they, you want to set limits for specific apps that you don't want them to be on all of the time? What are they always allowed on? And the content restrictions that so many of you are asking me about as well. So at the device level, you can restrict this, okay? But you can go further as well. So this is what you would see for each of your kids when you set them up, and you can set them up individually. I would recommend, if your kids are 8, 9, 10, 11, do this with them and talk to them about it and learn together about it and discuss it and explain to them why it's important, and they will tell you why they want so much time on whatever. So for example, you have to enter a screen time passcode so that it can't be altered, and you're going to turn on downtime. So again, you see this pop up. If your kids have not done a software update on their devices, your device and their device have to be on the same software update. So make sure all devices, like I said earlier, are regularly updated with software. If you get that message saying software update needed, do it, and make sure your kids are doing it too, and explain it to them why, to protect the device from the latest threats, okay? So then you want to turn on downtime. You can schedule it. So you turn it to the right and customize it. So you might decide, okay, during the day, it's important that, there's certain times of the day they can be on it and certain times of the day that they can't. So you can see here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've just put different dates in here, but you can decide. And maybe for Saturdays and Sundays, you make it a different time. So it's up to you. And I would say the older these kids are getting, your kids, do it with them and talk to them about it and agree rules together, which is really, really important, because if you agree rules together, you're going to both kind of go with those rules. And if they need to be changed, they do. And that's a sign your kids are getting that bit older, especially during midterm breaks and summer breaks and Easter breaks and so on. They maybe need to be changed up a little bit. Okay, so you can block it. So what happens after that time is up? They gray out. You can't actually open the icons on your child's tablet. They don't work. They time out after that particular time, okay? So that's downtime. That's set up. App limits. So setting time limits for apps. So say there's specific app limits that you want to restrict. So let's go into social. It might be, let's click on Snapchat, but you might decide it's Roblox or something else, but you agree it with them and you set it up. So you put it in for Snapchat. You've agreed with your child an hour or whatever long it's going to be. And maybe on Saturdays, it's a little bit longer, depending on what you've agreed. These are just suggested. This is not anything set in stone. So there you have it, Snapchat, but you can go through all apps and put the same on those as well and set time limits. Communication. So this basically means when they have the apps, who can they contact? When they've downtime, they can only contact me and dad and family members, for example. So that's what the communication limits are about. And then always allowed. So if you look at this, my kids, they're allowed their Fitbit, music, photos, podcasts, school stuff. I've clicked. So if I add Aladdin, you can see Aladdin is just in there. So they're always allowed that one too. So always allowed are things that you're happy for your kids to always have. And that, again, is to decide with them what you're happy to. And, some parents, it depends on your parenting style as well. Some parents may decide that they want to, they're a bit more flexible. They're not so keen to have very restrictive ones. And it depends on your kids as well and your kids' age. So you know your kids best and work with them together on this, especially as they get older. So now this is the one that a lot of people have been asking me about. It's content and privacy restrictions. So how do you block stuff you don't want your kids to see? You only want them to see age appropriate content. So especially when they're starting out, they maybe get a new tablet. If you look at CyberSafe Kids data, 93% of 8 to 12-year-olds own their own device in Ireland, and 84% of 8 to 12-year-olds in Ireland own their own social network or gaming account. So that's why this is so important. So let's look. Content and privacy restrictions is slid to, it's green, it's on. So we're going to look first at the App Store. So you go in there. Okay, so do you require a password? Making sure if you want to purchase something, a password is required. So you don't want to allow them to install passwords, and they have to come to you first. Now, basically what that means is if they want to download an app, you get a pop-up message on your device saying that your child wants this app. And that's a great opportunity for you to sit down with them and talk to them about what is it, you know, what do they like about it? Why do they want it? It's probably because all their friends have it. Then you do some research together. You go online, you look at what is the age of this? What is the minimum age to use it? What are the reviews about this about, you know? And if you agree, then you go into the settings and you set it up with them together. And I'll show you one of those for TikTok later as well, and some Snapchat stuff. So allowed apps, again, you can keep going through all of these. So again, what are the things you want to restrict? This is movies. I only want them to look at PG movies. Web content, when they're looking at the web, limit adult websites. And maybe there's particular websites that they have been on that you've both agreed now, you've talked to them, you're not so happy with them on this website. You can put the website in there and you can restrict access to that website. But again, I would urge that this is really important, the relationship with your child, talking to them, because if you just put all of these restrictions in place without talking to them, they'll get really upset. They don't feel trusted. They don't feel like you've talked to them about it. They don't have a say in it, and you're going to hear about it. You probably know what I mean. So there, you can restrict so much, but it's so important to talk to them about it as well. So look at that: music, podcasts, TV shows, books, web content, when they search on Siri, explicit language, the list goes on. So go down through it, you know, and go through them and click accordingly. Okay, so that's an example of screen time in the iOS. But if you have an Android device and you want to download the family link, if you had an Apple device, but your kids had Android device, you can download the family link to your Apple device and you can connect it to your kids' Android devices, and you can do it from there as well. Unfortunately, if your kids have, if it's the other way around and you have an Android device and your kids have Apple, there is no, I'm hoping soon, there is no iOS from Apple to do the same the other way around, okay? But you can go into their device and do exactly what I've just shown you now. And it's locked with a passcode so that your kids can't change any of these that you've agreed together. So that's something to be aware of. Okay, so that was this, oops, excuse me, going too fast. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the chat. So let me see. So you can do it on a laptop. What age should a child get a phone? Okay, so just in relation to that one, Laura, my own daughter is getting a phone this year in March. We agreed her confirmation. She's done everything down to a PowerPoint slide deck on why she should have a phone. But we both agreed, and it's been probably more painful for her, but I felt I wasn't ready. But she is ready, and I'm happy for her to have a device now of her own, a mobile phone. And but it will come with rules that we will agree together. So again, I will be going through this with her, but it's already on her tablet that she has at home. It'll also now be connected to her iOS phone when she gets that too. And there's lots of great websites out there where you can get refurbished, locally refurbished phones secondhand at really good prices too. You just have to do a bit of a search online. Okay, so the next one that I want to show you, right, and this is really important, TikTok. I've chosen TikTok because kids love TikTok. You heard what I said there, 84% of kids, you know, 8 to 12%, 8 to 12-year-olds own their own social network account. And what I want to show you here is, you know, how to restrict apps such as how to restrict videos within the app, how to manage screen time within TikTok. And you can even set up breaks, and I'm going to show you how. But first of all, I'm going to show you. So I don't know who asked the question, but somebody asked the question, I don't have the app myself, so how can I control what my kid is doing? I would strongly urge you to set it up, download the app, set up your own account, and look at it yourself and get a feel for it. Know what your child is being exposed to on that app. The majority of social networks, all of them, a minimum age of 13 years of age, and there's a reason for that. And so please download it and have a look at it and see how it works. And here's what you can do when you do that. So this is for you, okay? So for you, when you're setting it up, or you can talk through it with, if there's older teens on this call as well, this might be something that you're interested in for your own safety and your own privacy, okay? So I'm just going to press play here. Okay. So restricting inappropriate videos. So this is, go to the 3 dots at the top, settings and privacy, content preferences, and restrictive mode. It's off, so I'm going to turn it on. So when you click turn on, it's going to limit videos that may be inappropriate. Now you have to set a passcode and reconfirm it, and you remember that passcode, and now it's on. So that means that, say for example, in your child's device, you have to sit down and talk to them about it. If they already have TikTok, that can be more challenging. It's fantastic if they're just about to get it. This is ideal that you agree together. These are the rules of you having it, and we're going to do this together. And at some point you turn it off and you let them off. And that's a sign that the training has been done. Tech tools are like a training ground. You're showing them how to do it. It's our job to safeguard our kids online and offline. So this is how we do it. But at some point you'll turn all of these off, and they may continue to use them themselves, like a lot of teens do. And I can tell you that for sure, okay? So remember that passcode. So you can go into their device locally and set that up with them, or I'll keep going and I'll keep showing you. Or you can do this for yourself as well, restricted mode, if you want to restrict content that you want to see. So screen time, okay. So into settings and privacy again, and go down to screen time. And when you're in screen time in TikTok, you can see here the amount of time spent, which is 4 hours, on, say for today, it's 8 minutes. I wasn't on it long. And then up the top, you have daily screen time. So you can set a limit for that. How much time should I be on TikTok? Listen, you can't be on TikTok for 7 hours a day. So, it's just not possible, and it's not healthy. And, we need to strike a balance here. So agree with them an appropriate amount of time. Screen time breaks is another one, and I'll go through those as well. So let's look at daily screen time. So you can get notified, so you can turn it on, and you've agreed with your child how long they're going to spend on TikTok. So you might decide 60 or 90 minutes, depending on their age. And you can turn that on. Again, you have to set a passcode that you'll remember and you don't share with your child. But that's, as they get older, they'll have their own passcode. In fact, I have it set up on mine. If I'm on Instagram or TikTok more than 15 minutes, I get notified, and I have to put in my own passcode to give me more time. It's almost like a psychological thing. I have to really think, do I need to go in here again? Do I have to? Okay, so it's about just having that pause and reminding yourself how long you've already been on it, because it's so easy to get carried away on any app, as we all know. Oh, excuse me, I'm after, okay, went back to the start by accident, apologies. Okay, so there's restricted mode on, and that's limiting videos. And then what we did was we went back and we did the screen time. Okay, I'm just going to speed it up there a little bit. So we've done the 60 minutes, we've put in the passcode, and now we're going to screen time breaks. So you can see here, you can get a notice saying, hey, you've been on at 30 minutes, time to take a break. That is a fantastic feature, just to remind you when you're on it, or your child, your young person. Then you can slide to the right, and you can get a weekly report on email about your activity on TikTok. And again, you can see down here, if you click that one, app opened. How many times did I open the app today? 4 times. So it's just really good and insightful to see how long was I on it for, how many times did I open it? And when I am on it, I can set it up so I'll get breaks. I get a reminder to take a break because I'm on it so long. And these are really healthy things to set up with your child and for yourself as well. And maybe your teen isn't aware of this. It's good to tell them about it. Now, family pairing. So this is the second part, and this is where your child has not yet got TikTok and they're about to get TikTok. Family pairing is something that you have the conversation with them, you talk about TikTok, and that you agree together to have TikTok set up, that you'll have a TikTok account and they'll have a TikTok account. And what you do is you pair it so that you have, you see what your kids have, and I'm going to just show you now what it does. So you can set a limit on your teen's watch time, limit who can send messages to them, manage their privacy and safety, and choose whether your teen can have a private or public account. And again, a lot of this is quite going through the motions and talking about it with your young person, the importance of it for their health, their mental health, their physical well-being, and also generally the length of time that they're staying on it and what they're being exposed to. So having that conversation and setting it up. And again, as I said, it can be turned off once you both agree, okay, it's fine, you've been on it quite a while. You're responsible, and I don't feel the need to be on this, but please come talk to me ever if there's anything that you're worried about, and you can turn it off. The more empowered young people feel as well as they get older, the important it is for them to manage it themselves, because they're, like I said earlier, they're growing up. So what does this mean? You download TikTok yourself on your device and you set up your own TikTok account. Your child, your teen sets up their TikTok account. And as a parent, you go into family pairing and you click next. And it'll give you a QR code. And then it says, okay, now you need to go into your teen's account. So they come over they have their phone and they log into theirs and they go to the family pairing and they select teen. And it'll say, scan the QR code from your parents. So you basically, it's almost like Bluetooth, you connect them together. And that's what then from there you can set limits on screen time and agree it together with them, go through it with them, so that they understand the importance of all of this. And again, at any time that they feel they can talk to you, and at a certain point in time, you just switch it off, or they take it over themselves and set up their own passcode to manage their own time when they're on TikTok. Okay. So again, that's back under family friendly TikTok. It's called family pairing. So I've shown you how to set up 2-factor authentication on Instagram. This is all recorded, by the way. You can watch this back as many times as you want, or when you feel the need to do so. And then we looked at setting up screen time. So screen time on an actual device, whether it be an Apple device or Family Link for Android or Microsoft, it's the same on each of them. You can set those up. Now, then we looked at TikTok, and I use TikTok as an example because it's very popular. So for yourself to set it up, to set up your time and your screen time, set up breaks. And then if your young person is new to TikTok, to go through family pairing. So there's some examples of the safety and privacy settings that you can do without buying anything. They're there in the apps, they're there in the devices. They're there for you to just access. You just need to know they're there. Okay. Right, so setting up the rules. So when you're talking, depending on the age of your child, and I know there was questions about, well, how long should my child be online? And there's a lot of, if you look at the American Pediatrics Association, children from 0 to 2 shouldn't be looking at screens. But if they are, in moderation, no more than an hour on a high resolution quality screen. And then as kids get older, they would be recommending, up as far as no more than 2 to 3 hours, up as far as 5 years of age. And then after that, it's really fairly grey out there when you're looking at research, but supervised is very important. And also looking at, your own child, the age that they're at, and what are they doing online? I guess we just can't get so hung up on time, we need to be more focused on what they're doing online. So, okay, so what are they doing online? Because it could be homework, listening to music, reading their Kindle, researching different things that they're very interested in. When they're using it. So they may be using their device during school and then after school to do their homework as well. And then, you know, how long are they? Like I said, not to be hung up on this forbidden fruit of time. We need to focus on quality time online. And that's really important. If your child is on TikTok for, 90 minutes and they want more time, what is it that they're doing? Are they creating a video? Are they editing? Are they doing things on it? So it's really important to be aware of that, because they could be really learning stuff, or on YouTube, they could be doing YouTube tutorials on whatever it is that is their interest. And then where? So kids under 12, I would strongly recommend no devices in the bedroom ever. And always have them in your line of vision, whether it be in the sitting room or somewhere where you can see them at all times, because no matter how many safety settings that you have applied to your devices and their devices, they can never be 100% safety proof. And that's why it's important. And to keep an eye on them, see what they're doing, get involved with them, have chats with them, and compliment them as well on what they're achieving as well. And with whom. So your kids may want to play with a friend in the class on a particular game on Roblox or Fortnite, or there's a group of them hanging out. You might decide a certain time in the week with other parents that they'll all come together and play a game for maybe 40 minutes. They come together. So it's up to you really. And talking to kids about only being friends online and through games that they know in person, and explaining why, depending on their age. As they're very young, it's really important to explain that to them, that people lie about their age and who they really are online. And then, set the example. What rules do we have for yourself? I always, if I sit down on the couch, I'm not allowed to pull out my phone. It's almost like a default. But the kids, they used to give out to me. They say, you can't be taking your device. It's family time. We're watching a movie. So whatever you do, your kids will emulate. And mealtime as well, maybe have device-free meal times, have screen-free evenings, maybe once a week, once a month. And they can be painful at the start, but you know what? Families, the feedback we're getting is that families really, really enjoy them. Your relationship with your device. So be aware of your relationship with your device from the minute you get up in the morning till you go to bed at night, and how you use it, because maybe you feel right now, maybe you need to make changes yourself, because what your kids see you doing, they will emulate themselves, and one rule for you and another for them, it'll cause absolute havoc in your house. So, consistent rules and agreeing with your kids those rules as well, and being fair with them. So screen time, this forbidden fruit, this, can I have 15 more minutes, please? Dr. Rich is from the Boston University Children's Hospital, and an expert when it comes to pediatrician and mediatrician and children's time online. And from him, we have learned this. So the best way to help your kids understand time online is to talk to them about the 24 hours in a day. We have some excellent resources in the Cyber Academy as well. It's the episode called Time Online. But ask them how, in 24 hours, how much time do we spend sleeping, having meals, exercise, and outdoor time? How much time do we spend in school, homework, reading, hobbies? Now, this is ideal for kids from a young age, just getting it through, because the more they're aware of those 24 hours, they realize they can't be online for the 24 hours. And then time with family and friends and neighbors. If you count all that up, there's not much time left, but there is a bit of time left over. So then you create a list of things to do, and whatever that may be, online and offline. And the Cyber Academy, this is something that, for kids aged 7 to 10, it's free. It's at tremicro.com/Cyber Academy. This is an example of the time online, an activity sheet. There's a fun video and really good conversation guide for you to just ask questions and have good conversation with your kids. We're also training transition year students to deliver this into their local primary schools, which has been a big hit. And we've delivered it this morning as well to kids. So, have a look at that when you get a chance, because it's really great. The younger you get kids thinking about this, the better, because they start learning from a young age to start regulating. It won't come overnight. It won't come naturally to them. Having an hour before bedtime screen free would also be highly recommended to help them kind of start relaxing and winding down for bed. Obviously, if they have a Kindle, that's different. They're reading as long as it's winding them down and not waking them up and they're reading until 4 in the morning. That's a different story. So obviously screen time is a gray area, like I said earlier, but we would definitely recommend an hour before bed that they switch off the devices. And that's the episode on time online as well at the Cyber Academy. So just looking at be safe, and we don't have many slides to go, but on the safety piece, you know, when we look at privacy, you never know who's watching. And the only thing to protect yourself and your private information online is not to be online. If you are going to be online, then you choose carefully what you're going to put online. And whatever is online, like your bank accounts, your private accounts, your personal information, it needs to be under a strong password and two-factor authentication, like I said earlier. This is an example. Just going to show you here. On Snapchat, when it comes to location. So sometimes if kids have been on Snapchat, they don't realize that people can see you on Snapchat if you have the Snap Map turned on. So location services has to be turned on. So it's going to give you a pop-up saying, if you want to enable location, you have to go to settings. So in the settings, you go to Snapchat and location. So you decide, okay, only when I'm using it, never, or ask next time. So be aware that this exists. Now for Google Maps, I need the precise location. And for Snapchat, it's also really good to have as well. So say your kids are going off to a concert or meeting in town, they can allow you to have access to where they are and a select few friends as well so they can find each other. So used wisely, it can be useful. Okay, I'm after pressing the wrong button now, there again. It can be useful if it's used wisely. Okay, so that's how you set it up. So I'm just going to show you where it is when you go back into it, into Snapchat, okay? So we've turned it on in settings location. And then if you go to settings on the top, it's like a cog in the wheel. Sometimes, depending on the app, it's 3 lines. And you go into settings. And here you have ghost mode. So ghost mode means that if you have ghost mode on, nobody can see where you are. Okay? So you can turn it on for 3 hours or until you turn it off. And I strongly recommend having ghost mode on permanently so that nobody ever knows where you are. Because wherever your phone is, people can track you if they're friends with you on Snapchat to exactly where you are at that given time. Who can see my location? You might decide nobody, just friends, and you can change for every snap as well. So this is really important. And again, I guess this is one of the reasons why it's 13 is the minimum age. Location. Can you imagine kids with Snapchat, they don't realize it's turned on, they're accepting loads of friends, even people they don't know, and then suddenly people know where they are all the time. So you can turn it on, you can turn it off. And again, as kids get older, it's a really useful tool to have. Okay, so when it comes to, you know, we ask kids about privacy and we say, how much does it cost to use Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok or Twitter or any of these apps? And they say it's free. It's not free. And when we roll up this screen and show them the terms and conditions, you can see that you have to accept the rules before you're allowed to use that network, that app. And what does that say? Well, that app says that you're allowing them, you own everything that you post, that you share, that you comment on, that you like, but you're allowing this app to do whatever they want with it, whenever and wherever they choose. So you're giving that app a lot of rights. So assuming nothing is private, and as soon as your kids are on one social network, welcome to your public life is what I would recommend you say to them, because nothing is private once they go public online. There are safety settings that they can restrict who can see them, who can see what they're doing, what they share and what they post. And that's really important to do as well. And of course, you've got a lot of, scams and pop-ups, like I said earlier. And, you know, being vigilant again about that and having antivirus software to protect you from downloading malicious content is really important to protect your private information. And just a word about the camera, because this is really important. Photos can reveal a lot about us, what we look like, who we know, what we like and where we go. And it's really important to talk to young people about this as well. And people online may have bad intentions using what we share or info about us, information about us. So, you know, we have all talked to our kids about strangers from a young age, not to talk to strangers. And the same thing applies online, not accepting friends unless you know them in person. And again, like I said, the private friends only in safety settings is something that you can set up. And as kids are developing and growing, you know, they may have a crush or they begin dating. They may then be asked for a pic, and it's not just any type of picture. It's revealing and it may be intimate and generally something that you know, they don't want anybody ever to see. And while this may be horrifying for parents to hear, this is prevalent in our community throughout Ireland, and that is a fact. And that's why this is so important to talk to young people about, because one, you know, it's a crime if there's intimate images sent of a minor under the age of 18. It's seen as a crime, and it's seen as possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material. If this did happen, you know, criminals will be demanding maybe money or more photographs or more videos, or maybe they want to meet up with that young person, and that's called sextortion. And this is the last thing we want, but there's been a lot of stories. You hear a lot of really, really shocking cases where young people have been caught in this loop and they feel they can't talk to a grown-up because they're so ashamed and so embarrassed. And also they've been threatened that these images will be shared with the school, with parents, with friends, and they just feel there's no way out and they don't know what to do. So that's why it's so important to be aware of it. And more importantly, that, you know, your young person knows that they can talk to you no matter what, because, you know, when the talking stops, the problems really start, and you really want to encourage them no matter what. You're always there for them. You'll never take away their device from them. Never confiscate it, because that's a double-edged sword. They'll just remember that you'll take away their device and they won't tell you the next time. And talk to them about it. What's happened and how can you help? If this did happen to them or somebody that they know, there's hotline.ie, the Gardaí. They can talk to Childline if they feel, you know, on a chat or WhatsApp, if they feel they can't talk to a grown-up in person. But that there is always someone for them to talk to, and it can be stopped because it is a crime and it's not their fault. It's others online that have a different intention in relation to it. So that's really, really important. And while this is quite grim, it's happening and it's prevalent, and it's, you know, we need to know about it. For kids, I mean, the best thing is to talk to kids about privacy and to talk about camera safety from a young age, so that they're equipped and they know the impact and consequences of things going online, and they're there for forever. They can be taken down. It can be complicated. There are laws to protect people from intimate images being shared online. However, the best case scenario is they're never shared in the first place. Okay, so just on kindness before we wrap up. You know, everything starts with kindness because it's the right thing to do, and we need to talk to kids about this. It reflects on them. So everything we do, whether it be online or offline, people remember the kind things you do for them. You might forget, but they remember. And, you know, the best way to do it is to be kind and show your kids doing it. And you know, it becomes a norm that they do really kind things for others, and respecting others as well, because while maybe in your family, you've no problem sharing information online, where you are, what you're doing, other families may be very, very private and they don't want any photographs or any information about them shared online. So encouraging children and young people to understand that different families have different values and we need to respect those. And especially as well, young kids can get, you know, they expect their friends to reply straight away. You know, other kids, they may not be allowed for a certain time, and that needs to be respected too. So this is just something I feel, you know, it came out last September, but I've kept it in because, you know, 8 to 12-year-olds, 60% would never tell their parents if they were cyberbullied and don't know how to have that conversation. Imagine. So this is really important. What can you do? The relationship, like I mentioned at the start, is the number one thing. Having a space where they feel they can talk, they know, they understand that you understand what they're doing online. Showing them empathy, kindness, and respect. Acknowledging differences. We all are different, and that's really important to respect. And discuss emotions. So if your child has done something online, or others, why have they done that? And naming emotions. If you name an emotion, I'm jealous, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, you're naming that emotion. And for kids, you tame it if they don't have the words for it. And moments of adversity. So if your child comes home with you and they've done something that's not great and you've always talked about it, but it happened, use it as an opportunity. Thank them for telling you. Thank them for coming to you, and try and help them. Just talk. You may not have the answers, but just be an ear for them, because often they just want to soundboard it out and they'll figure out what to do. And other parents, I can't stress this enough, checking in with them, because if all parents in your child's circle have the same rules, then it's going to be consistent and you can manage that together, Okay, 62% of kids 8 to 12-year-olds have seen other people being cyberbullied. Imagine. So what can you do? Encourage kids' safety in numbers. Talk to you if they can, let you know what's going on. But as a group, they can come together and do something about it if they feel they can't do something themselves. 53% have been cyberbullied themselves. Imagine that. It's quite a high number. So again, relationship is key, and talk to them about settings, notifications, social groups. Outside of school is really important, that they may have different sports, different groups of friends to get involved in. Again, it depends on whether your child has been bullied, has actually been unkind to someone else themselves, or they've witnessed it and seen it. It can be just as bad. So these are things that I just think is really important just to kind of put in a nutshell. And 25% responded that they had cyberbullied others. Everyone is capable of being unkind to others online and offline, and everyone can also be a target. And that's really important to talk to kids about as well. And apologize. I mean, it takes courage, and it's strength, and it's standing up for and acknowledging what you've done wrong. And that is the best way. So encouraging that as well. So kindness, it should be inward. So telling kids that, sometimes kids feel like their online presence is the only thing that matters, but they're greater than that. They're more important than that. And we can remind them of that every day without needing the internet or any device. And reminding them of that, and reminding them of their strengths and what they have control over. And again, we have the kindness episode for the Cyber Academy as well for smallies, which is a great one to get the conversation going. So how do I protect my kids if, they're on social networks? Maybe they're teens already, they're tweens, teens. What do I do when they're on them? How, as a parent, they know a lot more than me. So here are the tips and guidelines I would give you. Talking about kindness, talking about respect of self and others, like I said, other people's privacy, using the camera wisely, and asking for permission before you take and share a photo. Think before you do anything online. And that's so difficult for young people, but really thinking and talking about consequences casually in conversation. When things arise, use them as opportunities. Choose friends only in safety settings, and talk about it. Talk about how it's used. How are you using TikTok? Why do you use Instagram? Who do you follow? Are you just passively scrolling? Are you creating? Are you being interactive in a group where you're enjoying the conversation? Is it influencing you? How is it influencing you? In a good way? Does it make you feel good about yourself, or not so good about yourself? Is it changing your thoughts about different things? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Sometimes it's good to do a spring clean of those that you follow, and that goes for all of us, because it depends on how they make you feel. So it always starts and ends with trust from parent to child. Trust is the number one. Relationship, open communication, active listening. I cannot stress it enough. And, we've gone through some settings and samples earlier: safety settings, privacy, security, and reporting. Know and learn how. And every single app, the 3 dots on any post, on any person. It bring you straight to reporting, and you can explain and connect with the app themselves. And the final thing I just want to talk to you about is being savvy. So the good habits and good uses. So, have any of you, for example, looked yourself up online? Have you? Because I would suggest some parents say, oh, yes, no, I haven't. Because it's good to get your kids to ask them to look you up online and see what they see. Let them know, let them tell you what they see, because they will pull a picture together about you, about what they see online. And that's the message we want to give them. Whatever you post and share online paints a picture of who you are. So we have to be very careful of our choices, and the things we share, even if we take them down, they'll still be there afterwards. They can be shared, they can be copied. So, it builds up a picture of who you are. So what do you want to be seen online as? And that's really important. So good uses, kids are doing amazing research online. They're learning new skills, coding, playing guitar, how to improve their swimming, how to create and edit videos, enter video competitions like the What's Your Story one. And the massive online open courses, they're called MOOCs. So anyone on this call tonight can do a free open course with MIT, Harvard. You can go to mooc.org, allison.com, Khan Academy, and there's some fantastic courses there. And this is something I'd recommend as well for transition years as well. 50% of first years in college drop out of college because they made the wrong choice of course. If they do a bit of homework and research and short snippet courses, taster courses online, it'll give them a real feel for whether they really like that road or not, and save a fortune in registration fees for parents as well, because they'll make the right choice the first time. So there's some fantastic resources there. And again, like I said earlier, we gave out €6,000 to young people today for their amazing videos answering our question, how do you know what's real or fake online? And that's been fantastic, and raising money. So these are the two winners actually with us last Tuesday, and they're in the Examiner today. So we're very proud of them, and have a look at whatsyourstory.yourmicro.ie to have a look at the videos. They will inspire you, I promise. So to conclude, before we go to questions and answers, for younger ones, learn with them, build rules together, branch out carefully, do your research, and use the tech tools that are there for you. They're everywhere in every app. And for the older ones, you may hear your teen say something and just check in with them. You may hear them saying something like that. Check in with them. It might be when you're driving or doing the shopping or late at night, just saying goodbye, but just listen. Often they just want to be listened to. They don't expect you to have the answers. Discuss the free apps, because there is no such thing as free. Help them take breaks, and you've seen how you can set up breaks. You can set that up on YouTube as well, how to take breaks. You get a pop-up reminder, and encourage good uses. So when you hang up from this call, you'll be redirected to the parent feedback talk. So just I'd love to hear your feedback about this. It's so challenging to put so much information into an hour, and to give you as much information as possible, from gaming to managing screen time, to social networks, to safety and security and privacy. I will be hosting more talks, but more specifically on gaming, and more specifically on social networks, and more specifically on managing screen time as well. But please do have a look and give me your feedback. And on that feedback form on our website as well, when you get it, you can subscribe if you'd like to be notified, and we'll let you know about events coming up in the future as well next month in March. If you would like, we're giving away anti-malware software free for a year for 5 devices. So antivirus software. It's called anti-malware these days. So just put your email address into the feedback form. We will only use your email address for the prize, the raffle. We'll be choosing 5 winners, and you will receive an email within the next week with that security. So thank you everyone. For those of you that are leaving, thank you so much for your time. It's not easy to stay on a call that long, so we really appreciate your time. And this is recorded, so it can be watched back. There's a lot of information there to look at, and to look at with young people as well. And for those of you staying on to ask questions, I'm going to go through those questions as well. we always have the best session with the questions, and my colleague as well, Ian, is going to be there. Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks, Loreno. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you join us again on another webinar as well. And the recording will be sent out within the next 5 days. I hope everyone got something from it, and I achieved the goal of empowering you and helping you feel more empowered, and that you don't know all the answers, but you know what's out there and you know where to go, and that the important thing is the relationship with your child and the tech tools. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to go now to my colleague Ian is on standby. We have a lot of really wonderful feedback from everybody who's saying goodbye to me. So thank you so much for your lovely feedback. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to do the feedback form and let me know what you want more of. It's so hard to build out a slide deck, trying to get as much information. That's why I do a few of them. So I'll do another one in March and another one in April too. Okay, so thanks, Ursula. Thanks, Thomas. Okay, so questions. And maybe I've answered some of these already, but we'll see how we can get through. Ian, I don't know if there's any particular question you've seen. I'm just going to start at the start if you haven't any particular question. So let's see. Yeah.
I actually answered a couple of questions, Avril. So so far there's 9 answered questions, and the topics vary from staying safe online, different online games such as Minecraft, to general safety information for people getting started in the internet, which cloud services are the most secure or the safest to use. So we've answered that one. Wow, yep.
Thank you.
Also, there was one question about the risks on risks specific to online gaming, what to be aware of, but you've also covered that in a subsequent topic.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm getting through a couple of remaining questions just at the moment. So yeah, just getting through those.
Thanks, Ian. That's great. That's fantastic. My partner in crime. I think with the gaming, so I dedicate a separate webinar solely to gaming and social networks, but I pulled some of them in, the social networks in particular, to this one, just to show parents about the safety settings. But if you go to our events page, you'll see my gaming and social network recording from November. If you just scroll down the events page for Ireland, you'll see the recording there. It's with Irish Sign Language. And I explain things like what Roblox is, what you need to know about Roblox, what the settings are, how to set up the settings, and top tips on it as well. The same goes for Call of Duty and Fortnite. I also covered Fortnite on that webinar. And I also covered in more detail what is Snapchat, what is TikTok, and what is Instagram, and how to do the settings and what are the things to be aware of for it. So I hope Tara and Emer that between the presentation I did just now in the last hour and the recording, so I can actually show you, I'll show you exactly where it is. 1 second there now. I will show you, I'll just share my screen. So this is our website. Can you see that, Ian?
I can indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so this is our website, and you can see here, you can see more webinars, but on the events page is where our recording from tonight will be hosted. But here as well, you can also see the Cyber Academy and What's Your Story links for the different countries around the world. If I go to the events page, you will see here for Ireland, you can subscribe if you want us to, if you want to stay in touch, and we'll let you know the next time we're doing one. But if you scroll, this is tonight's one, but if you scroll down here, screen time challenges, and here's the gaming and social networks one. And if you just press play, you will have the whole recording, including Q&A as well. So hopefully that will help with the questions around gaming as well. Thanks, Karen. Okay, so I'm hoping, Tara, that we've answered that for you. It's a whole hour and a half dedicated to gaming and social networks, and you can fast forward if you're tired of what I'm saying or there's something more specific you want, and you can look into that. Okay, So TikTok views and content. TikTok views and content is something you wanted to cover. So again, I think I covered that under content restrictions, Fiona Keeley, but let me know if there's anything more particular. Naomi, parental control apps for Android and Windows. So the family link that I looked at, that was at 7:30. So I think I've answered that for you as well. Martina, thanks Anne, thanks Bridget. Best way to monitor 9-year-old boys on all devices. So I think the screen time one, Martina Nolan, that is definitely screen time. I mean, I was up in Dublin one day and my daughter wanted to download an app on something and she was only about 9 at the time. And I just messaged her back on the iMessage saying, listen, we'll talk about that tonight because we need to have a look at it. So we looked at the app together. We looked at the reviews on the app. We looked at the age restrictions. Then I went online and I found, you know, Webwise has amazing resources, webwise.ie, Common Sense Media. You know, you can get loads of reviews from parents and kids about apps, and that'll help you make a decision as to whether it's suitable or not for your 9-year-old. But for monitoring, I would definitely say either screen time if you have an Apple iOS devices. For Android, Family Link, download the app, and for Microsoft, it's Microsoft Safety. So I hope, Martina, that I've answered that. Roblox safe for game for 9+. Robert, if you're still on the call, I'm not too sure you're on the call, but for Roblox, I think the PEGI rating for Roblox is, I'm going to say 7, but I think it's 7. But please check out the recording that I did because I explain all about Roblox, what it is, the settings, what to look out for, and top tips on it. But it is safe and it's really, really creative as well. And Roblox has, you know, you can create a game on Roblox. So if kids are into coding and making their own games, and if that game got very popular on Roblox, Roblox will pay them money the more popular it gets. You couldn't get better than that. If kids love playing games and playing games with friends, then have a look at the views. So I go into detail on that on the gaming recording as well, which is really, really useful. So you can fast forward in the recording to exactly the Roblox piece that you want. I hope that's okay, Robert, and that I've answered that one for you. So impact of internet video fans, how best to set rules for kids to understand. So I'm hoping that, you know, that was a question that was asked at 7:30, and through the slides that I had, depending on their age, you know, and as they grow, your language grows with them and how you speak to them, and you evolve with them, and rules evolve with them. And the same applies for safety settings, the same applies for their use of it. And talking is so important. If you see something that you don't find funny, but maybe others do, you could open up as a conversation. Use things as an opportunity to have conversations with your family about it, you know? Thanks, Niamh. So be sure and have a look at that gaming one. Setting rules, I mean, sitting down with them, doing that 24-hour clock thing is another good thing about the hours in the day and how much we have to do, helping them just put that into perspective. And then with the time that they have, how do they want to use it? Focus on quality time online. Let's not get hung up on how many hours, okay? And I think your kids will start talking to you more the more you get involved with them and play with them on a game, play with them on Roblox, whatever they're doing on Minecraft, just watch them playing and ask them questions. They crave your attention. So they love you watching and getting involved. So setting rules for them that way and explaining to them why. Look, I'm putting 2 hours for Roblox because if you're on it a long time, it has such an impact on your sleep, your concentration, your anxiety, your mood. It has an impact on everything and your family because we get the brunt of it. So being practical and realistic, and when they're not happy with the rules, listening and meeting them halfway and compromising. Sometimes I definitely compromise with my kids, but I'm practical and realistic as well, you know? And again, that's a great way for building the relationship as well with your child. They know you're listening. They know you're not hardcore. You're going to listen and be realistic and work together, and they'll always come to you then. When to introduce gaming and how to choose which games. So this is personal, and maybe your kids will come home saying, hey, Johnny and Mary are on this game. I want to do it too. They're always talking about it. Minecraft is actually on the school curriculum in the Nordics, would you believe? Because of the, it's great for strategic thinking and teamwork and creative planning and building and all of that kind of stuff. So Minecraft might be a nice one to do, and they can play solo on their own, not playing with anybody else. Ian, I don't know if you have any other recommendations for gaming. I know my kids started on Minecraft and loved it. Don't even think you need Wi-Fi for it. You can play offline as well, you know. So it might be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Minecraft is very popular, especially for inspiring young creatives. But as with any online game, it's aside from the actual content of the game, it's usually the online aspect, so the interaction with others, which introduces risks. So that might be exposure to certain type of inappropriate content, or exposure to user-generated content. So, for instance, in those online worlds, user can create their own part of the environment, and with that, anything that can be created could potentially they could create something that is offensive or inappropriate for younger audiences.
Yeah. So I guess safety settings, again, it's back to the settings, you know, and I'm just looking here in, so Minecraft, the pan-European gaming recommend PEGI is 7 years plus for Minecraft. And if you want to know more detail about Minecraft, I go into more detail about Minecraft in that gaming recording that I showed you there on the events page. And Fortnite is 12. So there's just a few. Roblox, did I write that down? I wasn't that smart, but I think it's 7 for Roblox. Did I? Let me see. Oh, PEGI is 7. Yep. Yep. The PEGI rating is 7. So again, as you said, player-made content. It's kind of like online Lego, isn't it? More or less. So when to introduce gaming, some kids aren't interested in gaming at all, but others are avid. And you know what? The world's leading surgeons are gamers. You know, the hand-eye coordination. You look at all the surgeries now that are being done with technology. So fantastic, especially for kids who aren't so sociable in school. It's a great way for kids to hang out online and gaming with their friends, and they can chat to their friends that they know in the real world and go through the settings with them. Another great opportunity to spend time with your kid and explaining as you go why it's so important. Kids can join this webinar. Okay. So what mechanism is there to filter content coming into the house at modem level? So it kind of depends on the type of router and modem that you have. Some are very basic and some are very slick. So you can actually go and set up an account depending on your service provider and have a look at that as well. And you can buy stuff as well, but I would really urge you not to be spending money and look at what they're playing, what they're using. There's settings in all of them, and sitting down and using it as an opportunity to explain to them why they're important. You're training their brain, like I said earlier, that when they get older, they'll naturally just go to settings the next time they download an app, when you're no longer doing those parental things for them. Because parental controls, we don't like that word. It's being changed now to family safety, you may notice. It's about family safety, and as we all get older, our kids are growing up to be young, responsible decisions, making young decisions that are responsible when we're not around. Manage their phone time. So we went through managing phone time. That was the screen time, the 24 hours. So if they're very young, under 10, go to the Cyber Academy and do the time online one. There's a fun video and there's a Q&A there, questions and answers. Go through it together. And there's a quiz as well, and there's an activity sheet. And if you liked it that much, give it to your teacher and ask the teacher to do it in the school. They're easy, they're designed for teachers and parents to do themselves, and they're fun and educational. So again, I've covered that. I hope I've helped you, Jorg, with that one. TikTok parental controls, I've gone through that one. Blocking strangers from reaching out on TikTok. Again, if your safety settings on TikTok, Jeanette, are public and anyone can be friends with you and they can reach out to you, then you can go into settings and restrict. So friends only. Who can contact me? Friends only. Who can comment on my stuff? Friends only, or nobody. Maybe you'll allow nobody to comment on what you share. Maybe your child doesn't want to share. They're just using it for different reasons. So safety settings in TikTok again. But if you go to the social and gaming webinar recording on the events page, you can watch it there. Back again, like I said. Agnes, how to have control on what content child is watching on YouTube. So again, we've covered that. How long and how often can I let my 5 and 7-year-old be online or even play games? So I would always say, like I said, keep them in your line of vision, have the settings set up, talk to them. Even at 5 and 7, you can dilute the language down that they understand why you need to do it. Get involved with them, play with them an odd time, and make sure you hear them as well. But, you know, from 5 up, it really depends on you, and you know your own kids. You could try an hour, a half an hour even, but you know, weekdays are so busy with school. By the time they come home, do their homework, they might have after school activities, then dinner, and then an hour before bed, they're switching off devices. There's not much time. So that helps you during the week. And then at weekends, maybe you decide a little extra, but agree with them something. So building that relationship from the start is priceless, I promise you. Like I said at the very start, we just have to put in the time, but it has its rewards. How feasible is it to resist giving my child a smartphone? Anya, I'm not too sure if you're still on the line. So it depends on your child. So for example, some kids need a smartphone because maybe their parents are separated. Maybe they need reminders for different things. Maybe, you know, they have genuine reasons for having a device. Some kids have assisted technology in school. They need devices for that. But when it comes to a phone, so I always think of Dr. Oh, what's his name? Oh, it's not Coleman Doctor, Dr. Coleman. Coleman? Anyway, he says, forget his name now, are we afraid as a nation of parents to say no to our kids? So it depends on how comfortable you feel. It depends on where, you know, when it comes to a smartphone, are they responsible? Do they lose things a lot? Do they keep things safe? Do they always mind everything? And then generally how responsible are they? And even saying that, I mean, any kid under 13, you know, you can trust them, but we have to accept that they can and will say things online that can be hurtful. They just don't realize they're hurting someone. They're just saying it as it comes into their head. So all of that is an opportunity for conversation. But how responsible are they? How ready are you for them to have a smartphone? And how ready do you really feel kids are? And what about their friends? That can put a lot of pressure on your child if everyone around them has a phone. So I have managed, because wonder I'm not fully grey, to not have a device. My kids haven't had a device. I've just had my 16-year-old, I had to actually get one and give it to him when he was 15 last summer. He didn't want it. Then my 12-year-old has been, like I said earlier, she did a PowerPoint slide on all the reasons why she should have a phone. And, you know, so she's very smart. She's great with technology, really creative, loves making videos. She knows she can't enter our competition because her mammy works here. She's gutted. But I still felt, you know, I want them to be kids for as long as they can. She has a tablet. And the only difference is that she can't phone someone on the go. But I'm actually starting to get to the point now where we're in town. She goes off with her friend on her own and she doesn't have a phone. And I have no way to contact her. She's getting to that age where she needs a phone. And we both agree she's very responsible. And we do talk a lot about it. Again, she knows things can go wrong, but I'm always there and I'll never take her device away from her. That's a rule we have. So, you know, because I'd hate for her not to tell me something because she'd be afraid that I'd take the device away. Anya, I don't know if you're still on the call, but I hope that helped answer the question. Age for TikTok, it's 13 for all social networks. So if Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, look at them all. WhatsApp is 16. So, you know, it's up to a lot of kids under 12 have their own social network accounts. And, you know, there are safety settings and privacy settings in there. And there's conversations to be had, you know. So I hope, Ekta, that helped answer that question. Can an 8-year-old watch? Not too sure what that one was about. How to manage apps such as Snapchat and TikTok. So I've done you know, some demonstrations for you. But if you want to know more, Colette O'Malley, please do go to, I'll share it again. It's called on the trendmicro.com internet safety. And it's here. If you scroll down from this page, I'll be sending out this link anyway in the next 5 days. Just scroll down and you'll find the gaming one there. And that's where I just play. And I do tutorials on that as well and even more stuff. So hopefully that will help you as well. And this is recorded. Please share, please pass this recording on to others. It's just a fantastic way to reach so many parents who need this information. And I hope you'll agree that it's not a science. It's down to parenting, and a lot of the stuff we struggle with. Check in with other parents, check in with others, your kids, friends, parents. You know, that's something else I did. I agreed with another parent of my child's friend. Okay, no, not until confirmation. We agreed that. So that's another good way to do it. And sometimes schools have rules about phones as well. So then we have, okay, so YouTube is one. I didn't get time to go on YouTube, but there is great settings on YouTube. Blocking shorts, I need to look at that. Let me have a look. It's a bit how to block shorts on YouTube. I'm just looking it up here now because my brain is a bit dead this hour of the evening. You can block them on your router. We had a question earlier. Open your browser and it gives instructions there. How to block YouTube completely. You can disable YouTube shorts. So if you just go to YouTube, sorry, not YouTube, go onto a search engine, and depending on what exactly you're trying to do, so you're trying to block shorts, you'll get ideas and reviews and feedback on how to block shorts on YouTube. I'm sorry, I just don't have that video tutorial finalized. I have it recorded. Like, you can set up breaks, you can set up, you can, you know, the way the next video plays automatically, you can stop that from happening. So you don't end up there for 2 hours watching videos on a roll. And you can manage the time that you're on YouTube as well under settings. So have a look at all of that, but certainly you can block shorts on YouTube, and have a look at that online. What do you do if you're not internet savvy? So this is a question I got asked earlier on in the night, and I hope, Robert, that this has helped you, you know, in some way. But if you want to watch back on this recording or the previous recordings that I've done on that website, on our website, please do, because I explain a lot about different social networks, what they are, what games are, how they work, and how to protect yourselves and what you need to look out for. So there's a lot more information there on those as well. But I guess, you know, putting in the time, Robert, is the answer. You just have to do the time. And with time comes practice, and you learn things. And I'll always be learning things. There'll always be new apps. Okay, so can you do family pairing on the same phone, as in if your child uses your phone? You can do it under restrictions with a code, like I showed, you know, if you're to do it yourself on your own phone, not family pairing. So it's under restrictions under digital well-being. So that's back in earlier in this episode where I showed how to do that. So you can go into your child's phone, onto TikTok, and do it together with them until it comes time to do the password. But you can agree the times and set it up that way on their TikTok account. You can do family pairing if you've got TikTok on your account and they have their own TikTok account. But I would really strongly urge you to get your own TikTok account to see what it is. I don't know, has anyone heard the TikTok ads at the moment on the radio about, you know, you can use TikTok to bake this and you can use TikTok to learn how to do this. So there's a lot of good stuff in TikTok. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying we want to manage the risks and maximize the benefits, right? So if your child's on TikTok, why are they? What are they doing? What can they see? Go on it and have a look for yourself. And they're able to talk to you more then because they know you're on it. Okay. If I've answered that, Orla. So the child could set up a new account without the adult knowing. With this family setting, can I see if he or she has set up another account? Ooh, that's a good question. Which family setting were you talking about? Now, I'm not too sure, Fiona. Kids can. And I had a parent on the last one. say that their child bypassed parental controls. They were changing the time zone of where their phone was. And, you can do you can find out the answers to whatever you're trying to figure out online, but whatever it is they did. But the biggest thing for me for that is that they're really smart. They're tech savvy. What is it they're trying to get at that you won't allow them? Is there an opportunity for conversation there to talk to them about it? And listen, is it more time you need? What is it you want to do? What is it so great that you want? Tell me, I need to understand, because, if we need to change up the rules a bit and make it relax it a bit more, then maybe that's what we should do. But if you're not talking to me and you're bypassing things and setting up your own accounts, then I need to know. But it comes back to that relationship again, and that open conversation and listening to them, and them being honest with you. And it's a tough thing as they get older, because they won't tell you everything. But, that's where it really starts. So I hope, Fiona, that's helped. Reducing the risk of kids using chat with others in gaming. So 1, you can stand in the room and keep an eye on them. 2, you can switch off chat in settings and agree with them. And when you feel that they're up for turning it on, then, that comes with, respect, language, being that they come to you if anyone is inappropriate, and etiquette. It's manners. It's that basic stuff. But within the settings on games, you can filter, you can reduce risks on chat. It depends on the game you're talking about. So again, go back to the recording I did on gaming and social network. I go into more detail on that as well. So I hope, Dave McAndrew, if you're on the call still, that I've answered that for you. Okay. Okay, could I organize a talk specifically for teenagers? My son refuses to watch it with me. I'm so sorry. Teenagers. He might be interested if he felt that it was exclusively for teenagers. Okay, absolutely. We do have, we're training transitioners at the moment to deliver the Cyber Academy to primary, and we're working on a new teen program as well, and tween program. So it is coming, Helen. There's just not enough hours in the day. We're working hard to get those out. I use my phone to keep an eye on location of my 15-year-old, but sometimes I cannot see his location. He's not aware that I have Find My Phone switched on. Would it be because he's not updated his software? Yes, absolutely, software update. However, it's no harm just saying it to him that Find My Phone. Just if he loses his phone, that you have it for that reason only. My son lost his phone last year, and it was a very expensive loss because we hadn't it set up. It was just new, and can't even go there. I can't even go there. Look at me like talking about it. But we have Find My iPhone, Find My tablet. All the tablets are connected, so you can find everything, and it's brilliant to see where it is. But I would say use it as an opportunity to talk to them about it, and tell them the reasons why it's important. If they lost it, you can see it, you can block it using your device to block it, so that even if somebody does find it and keep it, it's useless to them. You can actually, what's the word? You can contact the service provider, the device, whether it's Apple, for example, and they can cancel it, so it cannot be used no matter what. So it's useless. So it's really useful. So explaining to him that it's important that he has it on, but also asking him, would there be reasons why he doesn't want you to know? That would probably be a bigger question. Obviously, when he's in a good form and it's relaxed and he knows you haven't any hidden agenda, I hope that's helped. But definitely the software update as well is a good one. So you're onto it already. Okay, I think, let me see. I'm sure that my son would like to do that. Oh, Helen, you're on the call. Your son would like to do the Cyber Academy, maybe? Maybe. It's great. You might just send me a message direct to panelists on chat and let me know, so I have your email address. I don't know what part of the country you're in, but I can get in touch with you about that as well. Okay. Thanks, Helen. Can my son use his phone to call someone once the app disabled the device because he has used up his time? If it's off, it's off. So if it's Family Link on Android, or if it's screen time on iOS, or whatever it is you're using, depending on the times that you have allocated to it, but it should be off. And again, no devices in the bedroom, because you never know how long they're up, what they're doing on it, who they're engaged in talking to, and conversations can get out of hand with their friends, not to mind anyone that they may not even know that they're talking to. So keep them out of the bedroom. As a rule, devices downstairs. No devices go upstairs in our house. I hope any that helped. Does restricting inappropriate content on social apps does restricting inappropriate content on apps restrict appropriately for a 12-year-old? So even when you do that, they say, look, if you do find something that you felt was inappropriate, please report it to us and we'll add it straight away. So they are constantly monitoring and categorizing and all of that. But they say themselves they're trying, but some things may slip through, which again, even for a 12-year-old, I always say just keep them in your line of vision, and tell them if they see something that upsets them to talk to you, you know? Thanks, Kate. Sorry, it'll be recorded anyway for everything else, but we're nearly done, I think, anyway. Thank you so much for staying on. I think that's it. What web address for your event site? So I'm just going to send you the events. Here's the events. So this is the events page where you will get the recordings for Ireland. And if you scroll down, you'll have all of the, the gaming and social networks, and also the screen time management as well. I think in March, I'm going to focus more on YouTube and just questions in general. I think I'm just trying to figure out what to do. So if you have any ideas, let me know what you'd like in the next webinar. I like to change it up every time. Instead of doing that, I don't do the same webinar twice for sure. Okay, so Orla, I answered that one for you. Okay, thanks a million. Can I restrict the use of Samsung Internet Browser so my child only uses Chrome that is connected to the Family Link? Oh, that's a tricky one on my brain. I would say, Emma, and I don't mean this as a cop-out, but I would check what device it is, the internet browser, and check with your Family Link. Just check on the Family Link. How can I? If you go to Family Link, if you watch the event, the webinar for gaming, it's on that for Family Link, or is it the screen time management one? Managing screen time, it's on. And if you go into that recording, I show you. But the Family Link, if you go to Google Family, there's a whole area dedicated to families on Google, so that will help you as well with the Family Link answer. A YouTube chat, yes. All the kids in school are watching YouTube videos more TV nowadays. Yeah, absolutely. I will do YouTube the next one. Maybe I'll just call it YouTube webinar. There's so much to talk about with YouTube and Google. So Google and YouTube, I could do an entire webinar on that alone. So maybe that's what I'll do. You've just given me my next webinar, Sarah. Thank you. Everything you need to know about Google and YouTube. How's that? Sound good? Okay. Thanks, Katrina. Is ASMR suitable for kids? Ian, have you heard of ASMR? I haven't heard of ASMR. I'm just Googling it.
Yeah, it is. It's a sensory thing. So certain wavelengths of.
Oh, sorry,
sound,
I thought it was an app.
Yeah, yeah, it will actually cause the sensation, like a tingling sensation.
Okay.
So certain music artists are known to use this technique, such as Billie Eilish, for instance. But yeah, it's a big thing on TikTok now, for instance, where the actual sound of the video, they use a special microphone that has a really high pickup, and yeah, it's almost like there's somebody talking into your ears. I don't think there's any inherent danger from it, though. Potentially, it being used to deliver, misinformation, for instance, that could be possible. But I don't think there's any inherent danger from ASMR itself.
I suppose, Ian, the key there, just from learning what you're teaching me, is, and Sinead, thank you, as long as it's beneficial. And as a parent, you know yourself, if you're a bit concerned, you follow your instincts and you know your own child. keep an eye on it and ask them how they feel about it. But if it's being used a lot and you're feeling like it's abused and it's maybe a bit not so beneficial anymore, that's when I suppose just following your instinct on it a bit as well. I'll have a look. I'm going to be looking this up after, just researching it myself, just to see, because this is a new one for me. Thank you. Thanks, Ian. Okay, and I answered that one. Do you give any presentations to further ed students? Absolutely. Is there someone I can contact? Yeah. So Raymond O'Connor, if you want to just send me your email, not to everyone, but just send it, in the chat, and you have a choice to send it to host and panelist. You're sending it to me and Ian, and let me know what it is you're interested in. Then let me know, and let me know your location as well, whereabouts you're located, because we're based in Cork, so we can reach out in the Cork area, I'm sorry, but everything else we do via webinars anyway, and Teams chats and stuff like that with transitioners, training them online to deliver the programme around the country. We had Kilkenny College deliver the Cyber Academy to 720 kids in the last 3-4 months, so they're amazing, and the kids love the teens, and the teens learning so much, so it's great. But yeah, so let me know, Raymond. You might just send me your email, myself and Ian there, just to panelists, not everyone. Okay, I think that's it. Let me see. I think that's it, Ian. We're done. We stayed on a little longer, but thanks everybody for joining, and fantastic feedback as always. And we will be doing another one in March, and it'll be on Google and YouTube, I think, because I've got a lot of requests. I just couldn't pack it in tonight. Packed too much in already, probably. Sorry. Thanks so much, everyone. Ian, thank you so much. ASMR, it's on my hit list for tomorrow to research. So thank you so much, Ian, for your help tonight and support with the Q&A session as well. Really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
You'd be sick of me now. You want to see me for a week, having the Cyber Academy this morning and the parent talk this evening. Thanks so much, Ian. And thank you everybody for joining on Safer Internet Day. I hope you got feedback. When you get the recording, please share it with family and friends. That's what all of this is for. That's what our work is all about. Take care. And you cleaned the entire kitchen. Well, you got more than what I got done. Thanks, Eileen. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.